All right, in this episode, I'm breaking down Mars in Leo building in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. The emotional intensity, the breakthrough potential, and how to move through it without losing yourself. This episode is raw, it's honest, and it's for you if you're feeling the fire right now. We are now building to some massive breakthrough energy. I'm talking about the energy that is building right now is the type of energy that can either clear deep, deep trauma, or it could be a little traumatizing. And that being said, we don't just stop at traumatizing in this podcast because we talk about alchemizing in this podcast because y'all are witches if you follow me. And you're brave as fuck, courageous as fuck, and you're not afraid to alchemize something because it's the moments that something feels so intense and you choose power. You choose to take responsibility for your own evolution, for your own power. It's in those moments that you see how powerful you truly are. And those are my favorite moments in life. The moments that I feel like I'm going to die and then I take responsibility and I take my power back and I heal a giant trauma pattern in my body. One that brings me into long-term peace around that specific subject. So I'm really feeling this energy building. Mars just moved into Leo today, and I will say I was raging, like raging with frustration. It if I'm honest with myself, everything in my life is going great right now. And there is a level of frustration that I found bubbling up inside of me because I feel myself becoming a new version of myself. I'm attracting new people into my life. Yet there are still people I'm attracting into my life that are not in alignment with me. And when I have conversations with them, it brings me back to a lot of wounding I have from childhood because I feel deeply misunderstood and um I feel projected onto, you know? And it sucks. And it's extra sucky to me right now because I've met so many people who are in alignment that when like old matches to that old wound come back into my life, it's deeply frustrating to me. Um it's almost like really thought I was done with that. I thought I was done with that energy. Why do I have to deal with that energy again? And that is what this Mars in Leo opposite Pluto and Aquarius can feel like because Mars in Leo is our confidence. It is wanting to be validated, wanting to be seen for our authentic self expression, wanting to be celebrated for our authentic self expression, wanting to take action on things that really bring us joy and make us happy, wanting to show up in our pure confidence and lead with confidence and lead with magnetism, be seen for who we really are and find success for who we really are. The thing is with Mars and Leo building an opposition to Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto is digging deep into the trauma that's stopping you from being in your fullest authentic self-expression. It's digging into the trauma of where you are afraid of being misunderstood, where you feel you're misunderstood, where you're afraid of being kicked out of the tribe, where you're afraid of not belonging, where you're afraid of not being supported, where you have this deep and these fears I'm saying afraid, I'm talking about deathly afraid. Pluto trauma is not, I'm just afraid. It's, I am going to die if I do that afraid. We don't take that lightly, and I'm not taking it lightly. So I will say the power you can get from it, fucking awesome. The path there, why I call myself a mindset masochist. I don't always love the painful part of clearing the Pluto trauma. Usually I'm kicking and screaming until I surrender and take responsibility. And then I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So what happens when we have this desire to be our authentic self-expression, lead with creativity, lead with fun, lead with joy, and be seen and validated for that? And it comes opposite all this trauma we have around not belonging, not being supported, being misunderstood, being too weird, being alone, being a lone wolf, being the black sheep, all Pluto and Aquarius things, is it causes this tension. That tension I was feeling today that I was telling you, where it's like, but I know so many people see me and validate me, but then I have all of this come into my life and I feel like shit. And I don't want to feel like shit. And then it's like this, like, why can't you see me? And trying to grasp onto control and make them see you. And then they don't see you more. And they're like, F you, bitch, for trying to make me see you. We all know how it feels when someone wants you to see them. It makes you not want to see them. They're trying to force you to see them because no one wants to be forced into anything. No one wants that. And so it causes this tension where we're trying to control being understood or trying to keep ourselves safe from being kicked out of the community, kicked out of the tribe, versus being seen in our authentic self-expression. And it's this back and forth, back and forth. And I'm going to do another podcast on the new moon in Taurus because that aspect is pretty much building for the new moon in Taurus. And a big part of this new moon is like own your worth. Basically, the way to healing this tension is to keep being your authentic self, keep being in joy, keep being in creativity, and take responsibility for all the ways this fear of being misunderstood holds you back. Take responsibility for all the times you don't allow yourself to show up joyous and happy and free because you're afraid of what your parents will say or your boyfriend will say or your friends will say. And then you feel like you have to like defend yourself. This opposition wants you to own your worth. It wants you to see that there is no level of control that will make you understood. There's no level of control you can have in your life that are going to force you into belonging somewhere. There's no level of control you can have in your life that's going to make you feel like you're not the black sheep if you're telling yourself you're the black sheep. If you're not owning that it's not that you're the black sheep, that you're actually really powerful for being different. My boyfriend showed me this reel of Alex Hormozy. He's got a $100 million business, and he said in the reel that exceptional people are they're lonely. And that's because they are willing to do the things that most people won't. Everyone says they want to be a basketball player. Everyone says they want to be a famous celebrity. They want to be a famous writer. They want to be this. But the rare few are the ones who allow themselves to follow their passion enough and practice enough and put the hours in enough to actually become the famous version of them. And usually they feel lonely because everyone else is going to the bars. Everyone else is having fun, I don't know, fucking off. I often feel that way, to be honest. Like, I love astrology. I could just study astrology the rest of my life and talk to no one. And I've always kind of been that way. And if you're watching, I'm sure you relate with this, but I've always been a very passionate person. And a lot of the times I have more fun learning and studying and analyzing the things I'm passionate about than hanging out with a bunch of people and going to a bar. Like, I'm not that kind of girl. I love learning astrology. It's why I'm so good at it. It's why I got good at it so quickly. And so that video really landed home is the exceptional people, the people who are really here to change the world, which if you listen to this podcast, I know you fucking are. They're not afraid of being alone because they understand that it is one of the natural paths of exceptional people. They're not afraid about being liked because they understand it's the natural path of exceptional people. And so the highest expression of Mars in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius is not just like validating yourself and being stuck in this frustration and having to be like, well, people don't see me, so I must be a piece of shit and I'm just gonna have to be frustrated forever. No. The way you make it through this aspect is you detach from caring about whether you belong by being in your most authentic self and following what's passionate for you. That's what Pluto and Aquarius is trying to do, is it's trying to get you to detach from that fear, from that trauma of being kicked out of the tribe. It's rewiring nervous systems because Aquarius rules the nervous system. And so it can feel like a shock to the nervous system to be your authentic self. And that is the path through this aspect. It is to own your worth and continue to follow your passion, continue to follow the things that light you up, and expect that there's always going to be people who are triggered by you. And there's always going to be people who love the shit out of you. And that's how magnetism works. That's another thing with this aspect, is it's realizing that you're really not for everyone and you're going to trigger people and you can't prevent it. And if you try to prevent it, you're just going to keep that opposition in play and you're going to block your success. Because if you need validation from these people, but you're also controlling that you belong, you'll never move anywhere because you're not going to be moving aligned with your soul's path. But on the other side, if you recognize that as long as you stay authentic to you and follow what's passionate for you and it feels fun and it feels expansive, the North Node's in Pisces, it's all about how things feel. Right now we're following what feels fun, what feels expansive. It feels contracting, like you're trying to force, probably not for you. We're being very feeling based right now with the North Node in Pisces. So back to the triggering people with this aspect, I want you to keep this in mind the next few weeks. If you trigger people, and you were in your authentic self-expression and you were just having fun and you didn't mean to trigger someone, that is your opportunity to own it as a new layer of confidence, to surrender control, to be like, oh, I just triggered someone. How can I validate myself and understand that that I will always trigger someone, but my truth will also be the thing that magnetizes someone so strongly that it changes their life. This really landed home for me. I have a friend and her husband and her go to therapy, counseling together. And my friend has a very similar brain to me where she loves evolving. She doesn't look at it as anything wrong with her. She loves to see the ways she can just keep growing, evolving, and getting better. Her husband takes things a lot more personally. He's not like on the same growth mindset as her. Like he likes to grow, just more in resistance than she is. So they'll go into a session and she's like loving hearing the hard truths. She's like, oh my God, now we can grow in this way. This is so good that we know this about each other, right? The husband, on the other hand, because he takes things more personally, he leaves every session upset for like a week after. And he takes everything that happens in the session so personally. And when she shared that with me, it was like mind blowing to me because it really went to show that like someone could go into like a therapy session or even a session with me, right? And just depending on their filters, depending on their triggers, depending on their nervous system level, one person will take what the therapist or I say in a reading amazingly and it will change their life. And another person could take it so personally and have it be the thing that spirals them out of control and they're so triggered and they hate the therapist or they hate me. I don't know. I'm applying it to two situations at once. But this is how I internaled it into myself and it made me feel better about readings I give because not every reading I lands for every single person I work with. There's a lot of people that it lands so deeply with, and those people, it's so fun. I love, we usually end up working together. Then there's people that it just doesn't really land with as much. It's either too deep, it's not where they're at, they get triggered, it's too intense. It's just not a match, is all I have to say. And I've been really learning that that's actually a good thing, and that's okay. And actually, if I tried to dilute my message in order to fit everyone, then it wouldn't fit and life change the people it does change the life for. And it probably still wouldn't change the lives of the people that just don't resonate with me, who come to me. And it's the same thing with my friend and her husband. They're both married. They both love each other. They have a great marriage, actually. They're just going to evolve and grow together. But that goes to show that two people could be in the same session and get completely different reactions based on their nervous system and trigger level. That's what I wanted to share with you here, is that there could be moments where you feel like a lot of shame around your authentic self-expression, or how you created something and put it out there and someone didn't agree with your vision. And then you could backpedal and think, are they right? Do I have to water myself down? Do I have to change myself? And the answer is fuck no. Plain and simple. It's fuck no. Don't change yourself. It's actually your moment to gain even more confidence in who you are and own more of that king queen energy. That's the highest expression of Mars in Leo, is embodying your king queen archetype. It is leading with grace. It is leading with passion. It is leading with that lion fire and being detached from the projections of other people, because you know that when you stay that grounded, centered tree, we'll call it. Actually, a client brought this up to me because he did a like some embodiment retreat recently, and he told me how the woman in the embodiment retreat told him to be like a tree, and the wind could be moving around you, but if you stay solid in your center like a tree, nothing can take that tree down, and that tree will continue to grow and then produce fruit. He didn't tell me that part. I just made this part up, but like, this is how it was going in my imagination. So think about these next 2 weeks as be the tree. Can you root even more into your authentic self-expression? Can you root even more into your confidence? Can you root even more into your king queen energy? It's not cocky. As Kid Rock says, it ain't cocky if you can back it up. If it's who you really are, it ain't fucking cocky. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being who you really are. We've only been taught to think that it was wrong because of society or situations that happened or our parents or something. That's the Pluto and Aquarius wound. We're healing the collective wound around community and not belonging. We're entering an age of change makers, and the more you become that tree amidst other people trying to take your shine away, other people questioning your creativity, other people questioning how you show up authentically, the more you're going to step into the version of you that is here to change humanity. Because that version of you that's here to change humanity, that's here to do big things, is not here to be liked by everyone, but she is here to be liked by the right people. And not just liked, but celebrated, loved, and elevated. So I want you to keep that in mind these next 2 weeks as we build in this intense aspect. Always keep in mind that when I talk about these aspects, you could be feeling them. You might be noticing them in other people. They might not really be hitting your chart that prominently. So you might be like, I don't really notice it that much. But I imagine you'll feel some semblance of what I'm talking about. And you got this. I'm sending you so much love. If you love the way I talk about astrology and you want to go deeper into your own chart, you can, number one, book a birth chart reading with me. Number two, you can apply for deep dive coaching. That's my 6-month astrology container. You have to get a birth chart reading with me first in order to apply. Or number three, you can get my self-paced course, Higher Self-Healing Codes, where I teach you basically how to never need an astrologer again using ChatGPT, and you can get daily guidance specific to you and your birth chart. So you can flow with the cosmos exactly how I do every single day. So that's down in the show notes. If you like this episode and you want to share it with a friend, I would appreciate you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one.